Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. So this past season, I've been talking a lot about the dangers of distracted driving, the dangers of eating while driving, the dangers of various activities, and you might assume that I'm not a big risk taker, but I want to talk about another risk that I took too much of in my younger years, and now I'm kind of paying back some of the costs of those risks. Let's do an example. When I was living in Seattle, Washington, I had a favorite backgammon tournament that I went to every month. And the backgammon is frustrating enough because most people who go to the events want to bet a whole lot of money playing backgammon. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't have any religious objection to gambling, and I don't have gambling addiction kind of problems. What I often have a problem with is that it's not in my budget. Now, there are two mistakes that I made at that meetup. A lot of times I just didn't participate, right? I would play 1-2 games and then I would sit out and watch the rest of the games. What I should have done is spoken out for myself, right? I really love this game. I love programming AI for this game. Can we play just for fun? I really should have spoken up for myself. I allowed myself to get too comfortable with not speaking up for myself and just letting the group drag me along. And then there was a girl that I really liked at the meetup, and I never made my move on her, and I know why I didn't make my move on her. I didn't want to risk the dynamics I was really glad to have, even though I was missing out on half the games, I really enjoyed having a group that I could just sit and watch and have inspiration for my AI, which I have done beautifully. I started programming a very novice AI many, many years ago. And then 3 years ago, when we were all forced to stay 6 feet away from everybody else, I programmed my current version of the backgammon AI, which I nicknamed Corona Gammon. I hope one day, when I'm famous for Corona Gammon, people will remember that I used the lockdown as an opportunity to write Corona Gammon. Right? I sometimes see little memes about how when Newton was forced to quarantine during the Great Plague, he invented calculus or something like that. I don't know if it's true or not. He didn't have YouTube at the time to document what he was doing, right? Okay, that was one area where I kind of have regrets on. So this past year, here in 2023, I had a lot of burnout situations, and I know why I've been having a lot of burnout. You see, 2 years ago, I was working at a different college, Washington Technology University, and I didn't speak up for myself because I was glad to have a job, to put bluntly, and a lot of times I didn't want to rock that boat, right? And so I decided I didn't want to make that same mistake all over again. So I decided to take on a ton of gig work, right? 2 different colleges. Actually, next semester, I'll have another college. I'm not sure if I'll get a contract here at GCU. I'll have Phoenix College and another college. And I decided to look for tutoring gig work. And then obviously my art projects, among other things, right? And it's really great because when something bad happens, like here at GCU, I'm very frustrated with their grading system. And actually yesterday I made a mistake. I was so frustrated with our grading, and then one of our students had a mishap and needed an extension, and I was emailing back and forth with with the chairperson here at the math department, and he got upset that because in the chaotic negotiations, I had accidentally forwarded his email to me and linked in the student, and he didn't want the student to see that email or something like that. He angrily emailed me multiple times at like 11 o'clock asking me to explain what was going on, and he CC'd the president of the school. And so I was able to speak very frankly about, I'm really trying to take care of these students. I apologize. In the chaos of all that, I failed to even read your first email, and I apologize. I'll be more attentive to that, and I'm going to fix that right now. Even though it was 11 o'clock at night, I went to take care of the things that were in his first email. And so in the past, when I was worried about my job security, I would have tried to downplay it, cover it up, not make so much noise, not apologize, and not explain that I am autistic. And seeing so many students rush in, worried about if they can catch up, overwhelmed me, and I apologize that I got a little bit too carried away. And so, what do I want to say? And then obviously you guys saw this past year, I've been doing all sorts of dangerous art projects, art/chemistry projects, and they have turned out very well as well. I've made a lot of connections there, and I probably didn't get myself too sick from it, right? I take a lot of supplements to counteract some of the effects of heavy metals that I work with, obviously. What do I want you guys to take out of this? I think not taking risk is one of the biggest risks in its own right. Right? Oh, there was another situation. My mom and I have had a falling out. Every time we get together for the holidays, and that's why we didn't get together for the holidays this time, she gets upset about a girl who took advantage of me when I was working on my PhD. When I was working on my PhD, I almost dropped out of the program because I had allowed myself to get taken advantage of financially and emotionally by this girl, and I lost half my life savings at the time. I wasn't eating right. I was eating fish out of Lake Ontario. I was eating, I had a friend who hunted in Rochester, eating a lot of game meat. I have since learned that game meat can be contaminated with the lead ammunition used for hunting. Fortunately, lead-free ammunition is pretty popular these days, right? So nowadays you might get a good dose of anti-diarrhea medication with your game meat, right? But in the good old days, you got lead poisoning from it. And then I was eating a lot of fish out of Lake Ontario that was contaminated with mercury, among other things. And I almost dropped out of school. Now, my mom always gets very heavy-hearted and upset about that saga in my life. But you know what? Had I not had that chapter in my life, I don't know where I would be today. If you had a button that you could press and go back and not do that chapter, I don't think I would want to press that button. There's no guarantee where that's going to lead up to. There really isn't. And so, in fact, when I think about it, I don't think I would have a lot of things that I have today without that saga in my life. Because when I broke up with that girl, it was when I discovered that I could go out and have a good time by myself without the girl, right? Without that lesson, I don't think I would have Corona Gammon today. I don't think I would have the art projects today. There's no way you would get me to be by myself and do that, right? And even my career here at GCU probably, and how I resolved the conflict last night, probably has its genesis in that event, right? And so go out there and take calculated risks, right? Don't do something silly like eating while driving when you really should be not eating. Oh yeah, here's another risk for you. A lot of people seem to think that if you stop eating for 16 hours, you'll die for some reason. Even people here at GCU who are otherwise studying biology or even medicine, and they hear about a 16-hour, oh my God, you will die from that. No, what they mean is the food industry might die. Right. Anyways, take calculated risks. Don't be the biggest risk taker by not taking risks. Right. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.